So the Mini R53 K-swap adapter is now complete. Just thought I'd give you a quick rundown because it really is pretty much a plug and play harness. So quick rundown of all the connections. These two connections are part of the Honda system. So that would go into the third plug of the ECU, and that will connect to the chassis connector of the original Honda engine harness. This connects to the only connector that's left on the car once you've removed the Mini R53 ECU and engine harness. So that's just a simple plug and play, and we get a lot of information from that one. This plugs into the chassis harness of the R53. I'm sure you've seen these before. From that chassis harness, we have a straight pin connector that goes to the Honda starter motor. You can't actually buy the correspondings for that, so it literally goes straight to the starter motor. And this goes straight to the Mini R53 power steering or EPS module. Primary O2 sensor. It's actually a wideband on the later K20z4s. So all you'll need for that is an original Honda wideband or primary O2 sensor. This is the box that you'll see on all of our K20z4 adapters. This is actually a Miku replicator. And essentially it fools the original ECU into thinking that it's still in a Honda chassis. Otherwise they don't really work and you get all kinds of issues. So you'll see that on our K20z4 harnesses. OBD, CAN OBD, so unfortunately I couldn't run it straight to the R53 OBD, which is a bit of a chore. That on a standard installation with a waterproof or a K20z4 ECU, that's probably the only bit that will need to go inside the cabin. All of this should be able to stay in the engine bay. And then we have a separate connector which has got RPM, VSS, CAN information and just a power. That's going to be predominantly used for our CAN modules, so we can get the tacho and a few other things working on the original Mini cluster. And then the only thing you would need to wire are a couple of wires. So that needs to go to the original engine harness. That's for oil pressure. That needs to go to the original engine harness, and that is for battery warning light. This is actually a coolant temp sensor, which essentially needs to be just tapped onto the original chassis harness. Extremely easy to do. So as you will see from my test rig, so that plugs into there. These are essentially these three connectors would have come straight from your engine harness. That needs to plug straight into there. That's all you'd need to do on the engine harness side. And then these three wires, the corresponding pins are just in those. And it literally would be a case of either connecting them straight to it and soldering them on, or if you want to be able to remove the engine harness easily, just simply tap onto those wires, put a couple of connectors on, and then you'll be able to plug it in and out. So there you go, Mini R53 plug and play system for a Honda K20z4 FN2. That's predominantly found in the Civic Type R 2006-2011 UKDM and EUDM. We're going to look to do the same thing for the USDM market, but again, I'm just waiting for some configuration for that. And almost exactly the same will be available next week for the K20A. So that will include the PRA, PRB, PRD, PRC ECUs. Again, that will need to come into the cabin, but as you can see, we fit a 60mm or whatever that is in old money, so that you can run it straight through into the engine bay through the bulkhead. So watch out for that.